Hello everyone and welcome to yet another series of Let's Play Rimworld, now in Alpha 16. I have been really looking forward to this Alpha update ever since Tynan released those little teaser screenshots, so I'm pretty excited to check out all the new features. Now what I'm actually going to do is I won't really get into explaining the Alpha, because I usually like to do a little bit of an overview of all the new additions when I start a new Let's Play. But I'm not going to get into that until I get into colony creation, and the reason why is because I'm going to generate a full world map, and it takes quite a while now with the new updates. So I will get right into here, and about 3 or 2 alphas ago I tried out Lost Tribe and I did terribly. So the one thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go to Scenario Editor, and the one thing I really hate about the tribes is the fact that they have I think it's a Neolithic, they're considered as having a Neolithic technology like ranking, so the amount of time it takes to research anything takes forever, and I really hate that. So I'm actually going to change, all I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to new arrivals. Otherwise every other part of them will be exactly the same. The only difference is they'll be considered a new arrival instead of a tribe that's already been there, so their technology will be considered, I think, industrial instead of Neolithic. And Cassandra Classic, as always, Extreme as well. It seems to be a different, I think they just renamed things. I was gonna say, I don't remember Intense, but yeah, let's go to Extreme, like I usually do. And we're gonna do globe coverage of 100%. Yeah, this is where you can definitely see a lot of the new things. And you know what I'm gonna try? I'm gonna try the seed of my name, Hap Dude. I know he didn't make anything special for this, but I just thought it'd be unique, because every seed has its own special thing, so I'm just gonna do Hap Dude, because why not? And now we can change the overall rainfall and temperature, because now the game actually sort of simulates an actual planet's like overall climate, because as I'm trying, for some reason I've been delaying mentioning this, but the game now actually generates a full spherical globe instead of a little, square map, more or less. So now it actually considers a lot of geographical and climate factors that never used to be considered. So let's just go ahead and hit generate here. So yes, as I just mentioned, the major part of this update is it actually generates a spherical planet, and I actually have the list of new additions, so I'm just going to go through some of the significant things. So now time zones are modeled too, which is cool. There's a new biome called sea ice, so I'm assuming that means that in colder climates you can actually cross the sea, because there's also a new ending to the game, which I'm going to try to achieve. I'm not sure exactly what you need to do to cause it to occur, but apparently you can, I think, get contacted by someone at some point in the game, and they have a ship, but it's on the other side of the planet. And here we go, here's the planet. So we get a nice big globe that we can choose anywhere we want, and now the tiles, instead of being squares, you have hexagons. So it looks really cool, and I really like to, let me see if we can find it. Yeah, you can even see the damn sun. It just looks so cool, I love it. And it still fits with sort of the art style of the game too, but it looks so awesome. I just love this. It looks so amazing. So I'm going to try to go to the tropical rainforest, I think, and I'm going to try to also find a place that's nearby a lot of other landmarks, because then we can probably, we can set up trade caravans, because that's a major new thing, and you can also attack settlements yourself and attack raider settlements. And unfortunately, a lot of the pre-built structures are very rudimentary. Tynan even admitted it. They're very simple and rudimentary, but still, it'll be a cool system to check out, and it'll be awesome to see it evolve more and more, see the complexity of the different structures in the alphas after this one get more and more complex and interesting and crazy looking. That'll be awesome. So yes, I'm going to choose somewhere in the tropical area, probably, I want a little bit of mountain, but not much. Yeah, as you can see too, the way the mountains are modeled is different. It looks more realistic, and whoa. What is that? Oh yeah, it's a group. Okay, if you zoom in, it actually shows it as being like a little group of houses, which is interesting. Oh, that's interesting. So it also shows that they have a perimeter wall where these people don't. Yeah, that's very interesting. I love the look of this. It just looks so awesome. So I'm gonna choose a tropical rainforest area with a little bit of mountains. That seems pretty good. Okay, yeah, and now you have all this other information: movement time, average temperature, winter temperature, summer temperature. Oh my god, look at how hot it is. It's crazy hot in this area. I think I might want to find a little colder climate, perhaps. Yeah, that is ridiculous right there. I did choose a warm planet as a whole, but I might want to find an area that isn't always in the hundreds, because that could very much cause problems, especially if we get a heat wave, because I think people would be suffering from heat stroke already. Okay, here's another tropical rainforest. Yeah, there's quite a bit of stuff around here, too. I think this might be a preferable one. It's still quite hot, but it's not constantly in the hundreds. Alright, yeah, that's a pretty good location right there. It gets in the hundreds in summer, but that's a little bit more tolerable of a temperature, I think. So, you know what? I'm going to choose right here. We do have... These guys are a little farther away, but otherwise we are close to a tribe, and we're close to the Oberium Federation, whoever that is. So, yeah, let's go right here. Yeah, that took me a lot longer than it normally does, choosing a location on the map, but the new map looks so cool. It's so awesome looking. I could just stare at it, because it's amazing in and of itself. Alright, so now let's choose our characters. Because we're starting with 5 people, I'm not going to be too crazy, but I just want to make sure I don't have anyone that's going to, like, immediately cause our entire colony to collapse. You look pretty good. You are a pacifist, though. That's too bad. Brawler, steadfast. Not too bad. Yeah, I also want to make sure I at least get, you know, 1 researcher or something like that. Jealous, fast walker, you're not too bad. You're pretty good, too. I really don't want 3 pacifists, or 2 pacifists. That's a little too crazy for me. Let me just make sure I've got all my skill bases covered. Yeah, it looks like I do. Looks like someone specializes in one of everything, at least. Actually, you know what? I don't think I have anyone who specializes in animals. I do want one of them. Let me randomize this person and maybe try to find an animal specialist. Another meleeer. Really, really good at meleeing, though. Oh my. Yeah, this person's really good at meleeing. I'm gonna try this out. You know, considering we're starting with 5 people, and I know with the tribal beginning you start out with a lot of melee weapons, I think I'll try to do a little bit more with meleeing than I normally would. I try to avoid it because it causes, I think it causes a lot more risk and possibility of death for your colonists, but you know what, let's just try something new here. Yeah, and other than the major change of the spherical planet and all the things that had to be modeled with that, there's a lot of other small miscellaneous additions. Like, one of the big things is you can make caravans, which obviously has to do with the new world thing. Yeah, this doesn't even really apply to our characters because we're kind of considered outlanders. Yeah, because I'm wondering, if you start with the tribal beginning, I wonder if the new ending is possible, because if you think about it, it seems odd that we'd have any sort of contact if we're just all tribals on the planet, sort of. I don't know. Alright, so here we go. All this junk to start out with. I guess I'll give the map a good look over, see what we've got to look at, really. Got a really big pre-made structure over here. A lot of ruins, as you'd expect. It seems like there's a lot more ruins than normal, to be honest. Maybe that's just me, though. Maybe I just have been on recent maps that don't have a lot of ruins. Alright. Pretty decent looking map. I always tend to like to build stuff in the center of the map because it gives you a lot of chance for, like, branching out. And now that's the other big thing, is anytime we want, we can just go here. I think go to... Not sure what exactly. I know some way or another we can make a caravan here. I found the... Okay, let's see. Yeah, I found the menu for doing that earlier, but it doesn't seem like it's... Okay, there we go. So we can form... Yeah, you have to have your base selected first, and then you can either form caravan or abandon the colony. Oh, that's interesting. It says this area will become inaccessible and you not be able to return here ever again. Oh, that seems like a weird glitch, or a weird thing. I'm sure it's something to do with the game not wanting to save a bunch of, like, extra map tiles. It seems odd that you can never stay there ever again. Huh. So I guess you have to form a caravan with all your people, and then you can abandon the colony. So yeah, you can make new colonies anywhere on the map now, which is a very different thing. You used to always be stuck on whatever map you first chose, and now you can abandon a settlement, which seems to make it inaccessible forever and ever in the future, which is too bad. So you can't have like a group of nomads that go to the north for winter, or go to like the equator for winter, and then go to the like extremes north and south for summer. You can't really do that, or at least you can't, and keep returning to the same place, because it seems like that disables ever being able to inhabit a single place ever again. Yeah, I'm sorry if I feel like I'm doing things really slowly, but there's just so many things added to this game, and I'm trying to like cover them all while actually playing the game. So yeah, let's just do this first, actually. I know this is a pretty boring part of the game, but I always like to do this just because it makes everything else more efficient in the future. Yeah, it gets a little boring, but whatever. One other big addition I remember, I'm trying to go off of my memory now because I'm obviously more or less paying attention to playing the game, but one other big thing that was added is, I shouldn't say it's a big thing, but when it comes to doctoring now, what it used to be is you basically just had like a certain percentage chance of it being a good or a bad treatment, but now instead of being like a random gamble, it actually is sort of like the quality of the treatment is directly affected by the doctor's skill. So what that means is that if you have like a 60% good healing rate, it's like a bandage of 60% quality. So instead of being like a gamble of being a good or a bad bandage or a good or a bad treatment, I think it's now considered sort of a, I guess you'd call it like a, I don't know, it's no longer a gamble is my point. It's directly, the quality of the treatment is directly affected by how good the doctor is. Okay, let me actually assign weapons to you. You're a very good, well, you're good at killing everything, and you're also a psychopath, Bosco, so that'll be interesting. If anyone wants to be named after any particular colonist to you, you can tell me in the comments. I know I did that for my last Let's Play, so I also think I'll do that this time around. I suppose I could have asked before I even made this episode in the first place, and that would have made things a little easier, but I kind of wanted to play this game the second I saw it came out. Otherwise, we don't really have anyone else who's good at shooting, only Bosco. Yeah, Lee is a pacifist. Yeah, Josh really isn't good at anything whatsoever. Mr. Bates here. Or it's a female. Aw. I was gonna say if it's a male, I could have called him Master Bait. But no. Can't do it. Okay. So, yeah, you're crazy good at melee. I'll give you the Jade Knife. You're also really good at melee, so I guess I'll give you the Wooden Club. Yeah, let me do this instead. That's a lot easier. So, yeah, Bosco has a bow now. Lee can't have anything. Linda has a club. You have that, and you have that. So, yeah, everyone's got a weapon that can use one. Yeah, unfortunately, Mr. Lee here is a pacifist, which I always hate, but whatever, we'll deal with it. Alright, so I'll continue doing this. I know it's kind of boring, but it'll make my life a lot easier. Yeah, Bosco's really the only one who can hunt. I'll find the one other person I gave that bow. Yeah, Josh. Josh, I'll also make a hunter just because maybe he'll get a little bit better at not missing everything, because I'm sure as of right now he'll probably miss everything he shoots at. Okay. Plant cutting. Oh wow, we can only have 3 people that are capable of plant cutting. Yeah, being in the rainforest, we shouldn't have to really worry about wood. Although I said that the last time I played this game, and I ended up getting hit with a what was it? A toxic fallout early on, and that ended up making basically all foliage on the entire map die, as well as all animal wildlife. So I ended up losing out on all the trees pretty much. All right, that works pretty good, I suppose, for now. Yeah, who is I think Lee is the best researcher, hands down. So, there we go, there's that. Now, let's go ahead and, I suppose, try to figure out what we're going to construct. First things first, I guess I'll make a stockpile just for us to move all our junk, because that's pretty useful. Yeah, other than the things I've mentioned, there's a lot of small additions and balancing that Tynan has done, and I think we'll observe all that as we play. I don't really think there's any point in listing it all right now. Oh yes, one other big thing. Yeah, here's another big thing. Now there's this huge research tree, which is very, very nice, because with how many research things there are now, that plain list that has been a thing for quite a while has got, it's gotten very hard to see what the hell you're doing. And now that there's actually a nice research tree that lists everything in terms of its prerequisites and all that stuff, it's very, very nice. So now you can actually go ahead and sort of figure out, hey, what do I need to go down? And actually, it looks like you can sort of click the exact path you want to take. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah, it highlights. Oh, that's cool. When you click, it highlights the path and then what it connects to. So you can see how everything relates to everything else, which is very, very nice. Yeah, that makes life a lot easier. And there's a, I think, yeah, penicillin is a new thing. I think it used to just be a malaria blocker, and I think now he added penicillin, which is just a general drug treatment thing instead of just being able to treat malaria. So that'll be interesting too. So now you can treat all sicknesses, not just malaria. So yes, rather than me just talking a lot, how about I figure out what I'm going to do with my base? I guess for now, just to keep people a little happier, I think I'll section off maybe this place. It'll be really cramped, but I think it's a good thing to start out with, to give everyone rooms, because we have 5 people, so I think by the time they all get done, like if I were to try to construct 5 rooms right away, by the time they got done with that, it'd probably be nighttime, so then they'd probably all sleep on the floor and then get very salty with me in the morning. So just to make my life a little easier, I'm going to go ahead and section off a lot of small rooms. They're not going to be permanent by any means, but they'll be a nice thing to place just for temporary housing for the night, pretty much. Yeah, once the first night's over and once they haul everything that I need and all that good stuff. Yeah, I should also go around the map probably and find if there's anything I can haul. Oh yeah, I guess this isn't a crash landing spaceship, so we don't have any metal or anything good like that to pick up. Yeah, we don't really have any resources or anything, so the first thing we'll probably have to do, I think, is figure out crop growing, because we don't have any real food other than the pemmican you start with. And you only start with 126 pemmican, and pemmican doesn't have a high nutritional value in the game, so that means we're going to run out of pemmican very, very quickly. Alright, I'll also make a bunch of these simple wood beds to start with. And these are some very pathetic housing areas, but it'll keep us going through the night, because I did do a little test run of the game, and I did it with the tribes just to make sure I don't screw up the entire intro of the game. And what happened was I tried making a really big base just to start out with, because I'm like, oh, I've got 5 people, that'll give me plenty of time to build, you know, everything I need before the nighttime hits. And no, that wasn't true, because so everyone ended up having to sleep on the ground, and everyone ended up having terrible mood problems in the morning. So I've realized the first thing I want to do is make some sort of housing, and then I can worry about other base building things. Ooh, and we do start with 12 herbal medicine, so that's very useful. So we have a very wide, nice open area here, so this is probably where I'm going to make the bulk of my base, more than likely. I might even make, yeah, there's like a little bit of a natural covering here, so if and when I make an exterior wall, I'll probably go here to here maybe, and then we'll see what I do after that. Yeah, the thing that sucks with marshes is you can't build. Yeah, let me just see here. I want to make sure nothing got changed. Yeah, you can't build on marshes, so this is basically just completely useless land for us, all these marshes. So I might end up incorporating our defenses like in some way with the marshes, so then the marshes can be a nice natural barrier for impeding enemy progress. So that's what I might do, is I might make like a kill box or something of that nature around here. We'll see though. This is just the very beginning of the game, and a lot of people have told me, I tend to focus on doing a lot of complex late game things when I should be focusing on simple things, like, for example, growing. That's a good thing to start with. I guess a good growing area would probably be along this natural rock wall. So then I can make like a freezer somewhere around here. Yeah, because we got plenty of growing area around here. So first, I guess let's make, yeah, we'll need a lot of food because we're starting out with 5 people right away. So I guess we'll make a potato plant, something here. Yeah, and let me make another growing area. And I guess just so our colonists are a little happier, I'll make this a, let's see here. I could do strawberry plants. That would spice up our diets a little bit. I don't know if strawberries are like innately better than anything else. Yeah, I guess the best thing about strawberries is that you don't have to cook them at all. Otherwise, strawberries are, I think, it even says in the description, they're fragile. So I think I'll make rice, so then we can get a pretty good yielding of rice right away. Rice is the quickest growing crop, I think. So I think we'll just make a lot of rice and potatoes. So a very starchy diet. Oh wow, and right away, we apparently Linda and Bosco are in a relationship, and the second they land, or I guess the second we got here, they've decided to break up, so that's unfortunate. I guess that's okay, because now we won't have to worry about a mood debuff for them sleeping apart, but now they're probably going to get really major mood debuffs from the breakup itself. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, minus 15 just from the breakup, so that's too bad. Yeah, otherwise, it seems like giving them all these rooms to start with is going to really help their moods out. Yeah, one thing I could do, and I always try to make a food making area like right away, and I think it would probably be smarter to just make a campfire, especially with all the wood we'll have available, and then just use that to cook our food to start with. So I think right away in the morning, I'm going to want them to chop off a lot of trees here, so then we can have a lot of building materials, and then we can also have some wood for a fire and all that good stuff. Oh yes, and let me disable the learning helper. It seems like that got re-enabled for some reason. Where is that? Yes, let's turn off that. Yeah, I won't say I'm the best at this game. A lot of people will be very, very adamant in pointing out that I am not good at this game, but I don't think I really need the learning helper. I've got all the basics done for the most part. Yeah, we're all out of food now, so that's all the food we had. So now, well, are there any berry bushes? Let me see that, because instead of having to hunt right away, I can harvest some of these berry bushes. Yeah, I'm going to harvest some of the berry bushes in the immediate area. Ooh, there's a bunch over here. That'll give us a little bit of food to start with. It'll stave off imminent starvation at the very least. And I think I'll also do a do until you have 10. And, well, then we're also going to need a butchering station. So I guess what I can figure out is, where do I want to make my cooking area? If I'm going to make all my crops here, I should probably make a kitchen as well as a freezer somewhere around here as well. I suppose right here would be a good enough place for a freezer as any. I know this is kind of overkill, but I always like making my initial freezers, like, massive. Because the bigger the freezer, well, the less you have to expand it later on in the game. So I think that's pretty good right there for a freezer. I mean, we're not going to be able to really cool it to start with, so I think I'll actually go this far. And I think we'll make a kitchen. I'm not sure if I want to make it over here or over here. It's a big question. I think I'll have plenty of room around this area for housing, so I can worry about that. I can worry about housing later. As long as people have a bed to themselves and a roof over their heads, they're usually pretty happy to start out with in this game. So there's that massive area for freezer stuff. Then I think I'll start out on a bit of a kitchen / dining room area. And when I made my last colony, I made a bunch of like separate houses, so I think I'll actually try making one massive compound. Especially because if it's going to get so hot that I'm going to want to keep the entirety of our compound cooled, I think. So that'll keep people in a better mood in general. So I think I'll make a massive interconnected compound rather than a bunch of separate buildings. And that also helps with walk speed and all that stuff too if you try to make everything connected with each other. Alright, so let's just do this to start with as well. 2 doors is kind of needless, but I just like making, like I've said a million times, I just like making things symmetrical and looking pretty. Even though that's not something you should really focus on in the very beginning of a game like Rimworld. You shouldn't focus on stupid stuff like aesthetics, because just being able to survive is a far more important thing. Alright, that'll work to start with. Yeah, we have plenty of room for cooking. One thing someone mentioned to me too in previous episodes is they said I should make cooking areas inside the freezer, and I think I can understand. I might make a butcher table inside the freezer, but I don't think having a cook table inside the freezer is a really good idea, because for one, I tend to like to have the meals right next to the dining tables, and secondly, if I have my cook constantly in the freezer, because we're in a jungle, chances are my people are going to be pretty, like, not very dressed. So if I have someone who's not very well dressed in a freezing environment, they're probably going to constantly have mood debuffs. There we go. English, please. They'll have constant mood debuffs. So I don't think making a kitchen entirely inside the freezer is a really good idea. I can understand making a butcher table in the freezer, perhaps, because then I can just have people haul dead bodies in here and then butcher them right inside the freezer. And butchering isn't something you really need to do all that often, so I can understand doing that, but I can't really understand having a cooking table. I'd rather just make an auto door here and then have a kitchen or a cooking table like right here. That makes a little more sense to me personally, at least. And I guess I might as well make a stockpile here. Critical, clear all, and just raw food. I guess meals for now. I guess that would work. I might make it important instead, so then... And then if I want to make meals outside here, I can still assign meals here, but it just won't be critical. Okay, and then corpses. Only animal corpses, and that is good enough for me. Alright, so there's that. So soon we will have a freezer area as well as a dining room area. And because I did change the research level of our colony, we do also start with a couple more things. Like, we actually do start with air conditioning, so actually I could make a freezer room right away as well, and we do start with solar panels. Huh, interesting though. Is there a... Do you actually have to research a special thing? Oh, apparently not. Yeah, I was thinking that maybe you'd have to research a special thing, because it specifically says solar panels here. So I was wondering if you had to research something special for the wind turbines, but it looks like wind turbines are just something you have by default. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, you do. Yeah, it seems like wind turbines don't have anything to do with the technology. Either that or they're listed under solar panels, which seems like a weird thing. Alright, we got 2 whole meals. How wonderful. Yeah, our growers are not doing very much. One thing that I saw that was supposedly balanced is it said that stuff like tasks like growing is now a bulk task, or when it comes to priorities, it's listed as a bulk task. So the way Tynan worded it, it made it sound like now people, when they're doing stuff like growing, they'll actually like grow a large amount of stuff. Oh god, man, people are fighting right away. That's no good. I guess I'll just let them battle it out, because typically they don't... Or I've never had someone kill each other due to a social fight. Oh my god. He did kill her. Holy crap. He just killed Linda. Bosco killed Linda. Is he going berserk, or who's going berserk? Oh, fuck. Our dog's gone berserk? Oh my god. So apparently animals can go berserk now too. I did not... Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I've never had an animal be able to go berserk. So everyone's gone berserk. Shit. So Bosco just killed Linda, and now our dog is going crazy. Oh my god, everyone's going crazy for no reason to start with. Jeez. Oh my. Now, one other thing Tynan added I saw is there's apparently something called a guilty thing. Like, okay, if a colonist kills another colonist, or I guess if anyone kills another colonist or tries to escape from prison, they'll now be assigned like a guilty quality. I don't know where it lists that. I think maybe you have to imprison them before it lists it. But what it does is it makes it so you can execute them without having any debuffs. So, my god, Josh, it looks like, I think, was it Josh? No, Bosco. Yeah, Bosco freaking killed Linda. Jeez. Okay, how was Linda character-wise? Well, that's crazy too, because Linda was the one with the freaking club, and Josh with his bow, or Bosco with his bow, was able to beat Linda to death. My god. I'd love to imprison Bosco for that, but we only have 4 people now. My god, that was a crazy... Oh, that's awesome. He added an allow firing thing. That is amazing. I'm so glad he added that. That will make life so much easier when I want to just get, like, approach a prisoner or approach someone who's berserking and not shoot them in the face. That is so awesome. Thank you, Tynan. That is like the one feature I've really wanted for a while. Oh my. So, I guess we're good now. I guess next time we'll deal with finding out what we're going to do with Linda, her corpse, and I guess further expansion. That is a interesting start. We had a random social fight, and we had a breakup and then a social fight. Actually, I don't even remember. Was Bosco the one who broke up? Oh my god, that is true. Holy crap. They broke up with each other, and they got in a physical altercation, and she was beating him with a club, and then he ended up freaking killing her in the end. My god. Well, that's a very interesting thing right there. I've never had a crazy thing like that happen in this game, so... Wow, okay. So, yeah, anyways, thank you all for watching, and hope to see you guys next episode. Goodbye.